KJ Simpson here, all-inclusive lifestyle show. I was just taping a parenting show here at the Chorus Building, the producer of all of these wonderful TV shows. I had an amazing show and I really want to share with you what I call the 3P's of parenting, with one bonus P that I'm going to tell you about outside. So if you want to be a progressive parent, not a perfect parent, because as far as I'm concerned, there's really no such thing as being perfect, but I think we're all in need of progressing, or feeling that we're progressing with parenting, which, by the way, does not come with an operating manual, as you know. And unfortunately, the kids don't have removable batteries because sometimes I'm sure we want to get them to chill and calm out. If you're interested in becoming a better parent, if that's something that's really important to you, and I do surveys, I find out what's really important to people, and they always say one thing first. First things first is always family for them. So I've got these 3 P's, as I call them, that will really help you not be a perfect parent, but progress. Okay, so P number 1, first things first, is being present. Let me give you a quick little backstory here. I went away on a retreat. It was called The Summit. It was for entrepreneurs, and we were to bring one child. So I brought my 13, or he was 12 at the time, son with me to Powder Mountain, Utah. It was absolutely beautiful. What this summit or retreat was all about is connecting with our child. And I thought it was a perfect time because my son was, getting into, I guess, puberty, or you probably wouldn't like if I said that to him. So what about adolescence? And I really wanted to get as tight of a bond with him before he was to go through that process. So I'm at this retreat, and we had Dr. Shefali. Dr. Shefali, if you haven't heard of her, she's an author. She was featured on Oprah. She's a psychologist, and she specializes in family. She did a little survey as all of these children, all these parents are at the top of Powder Mountain. She asks the children, she says, what do you want and what do you need from your parents? In all their different ways of saying it, they all said the same thing: parents to be present. Now, what does that mean? Some examples. The iPhone that I'm shooting on today, that thing is probably the biggest distraction for all of us in this day of age, with the social media and all the electronic communication. And a lot of times, they think that the phone is more important to us because our behavior is showing them that. All they want, from what I understood, is to be noticed, to know that they're more important than the phone is. So the second P of parenting is patience. Now, that's really difficult for us to do in this day of age because the decision-making processes that we have today are probably to the factor of 10 as it was for our parents. Maybe they had, with all due respect to my parents and all the parents that are out there from the other generation, maybe they had it a little bit more easier in the sense that there was less distraction. Digital communication really causes us to see a lot and to have to make a lot of micro decisions throughout the day that really just drains our energy. And how do you respond to your children, and how do you communicate with them when you're feeling, really powered down, or even sometimes if you had a bad day, just feeling powerless? Problem in the solution there is one word, as Einstein said: energy is everything and everything is energy. So it really is energy. So we really have to ask ourselves as parents, how can we stay energized? The third P of progressive parenting would be this: having fun, chilling, relaxing, but with our kids, and making sure that we're putting into our schedule, so we're actually blocking some time off. Here's the really cool thing. When we start having fun, when we start playing with our kids, we automatically take care of number 1 and number 2, which is being present and also having patience. Have you ever been out with your kids and been doing something that's really fun, and found that you're really focused on your kids, that you weren't thinking about work and you weren't thinking about all the other P's or problems that you might have in your life? You also had a higher level of patience, that you actually were listening more to your child instead of perhaps always telling them what to do, because that's what parents, as part of our job, is obviously making sure they do the things that they got to do. But for those particular times when we're in the play mindset, you might find that you're really just focused on them and you're listening to them, and more importantly, you're both, including you, having fun. So there you have it, the 3 P's of progressive parenting. I want to let you know that I don't consider myself an expert parent. I don't think there is such a thing as an expert parent, because I think we're all learning sort of on the job. I'm learning too, but I really think that it's those three things that were taught taught to me not by, some parenting expert, not by some child psychologist, but by the children that I had the pleasure of spending a whole week while I was on that retreat with my son. It was the children that said, listen, this is what we really want from our parents, from our moms and our dads. We want them to be really there, not with a phone in their hand, but present with us and focusing on us. We also want them to listen to us and just have a little bit of patience as we explain ourselves. And they also said, we just want to have some fun. There's one more P. You know what? There is a heck of a lot more pressure today on parents than there was before. And I think parents today really have high expectations, and society has a high expectation of us, to basically to rear and to mold, this child into being an adult. And that pressure sometimes is way too much. So just one little piece of advice here is just to make one little shift towards, what you would like to be as a parent. Show up, as your best parenting self. And that might just be perhaps having dinner with your family if that's not something that you regularly do. Whatever it is, just try to make this week, here's your challenge, just try to make one little shift that will get you closer to being your best self as a parent. I want you to aspire to be your best self, and if you're a parent, to be the best parent possible.